Hi, I'm Tori.
And I'm Leah.
And I'm Brett.
And welcome back to the Boys Lie podcast.
A podcast where we talk about the craziest relationship stories you've ever heard, pop culture, and the piping hot tea of our lives. Wow, my brain.
So buckle up, enjoy the ride, and remember that
Boys lie. Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Them boys, they be lying.
Boys lie.
Well, we're so excited to have you on the podcast. You guys might know her as like a marathon runner, a foodie, because you have Brett's Bites. But we have Brett Chody on the podcast today.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. I actually think the first time I saw you was randomly like through one of Jake Shane's videos.
Yeah.
And have loved you ever since, honestly.
He's my roommate and best friend, so that checks out. A lot of people have like seen me in like his skits or whatever, but he's hilarious.
Have you ever helped him create any of his skits?
I'm normally like filming a lot of them.
Yeah.
And like I'll tell him if it's like not funny or not like sometimes, but the only one I ever came up with, because like I'm not very like witty like he is, like he's like a comedic mastermind, but one time it was like be like the sun finding out about like sunscreen.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God, you should be like, we like everyone on earth like blocked me, like what the fuck, like I came up with that.
Genius.
And he did that
So
one.
clever.
It actually did pretty well too.
So you're like the ghostwriter.
That is the one that I have ever contributed to.
That's pretty funny, honestly.
You're very clever.
Yeah.
And aside from that, I just, because it's our first time meeting in person, it's so weird to say this, but I've watched your TikTok videos and I feel like I know so many more intimate pieces of you, and I feel like that's also so creepy and weird to say. Like,
no, but honestly, like everyone says that because I share so much and like I love it. And so like I'll run into someone I'm meeting for the first time or like an old friend and they'll be like, I know everything that's going on with your life. And I'm like, okay, but like tell me about you. Like whatever.
What do they call it? Like a parasocial relationship? Is that what it is? When you think you know somebody, but like you don't, and then you run into them in public and you're like, hi, it's so good to see you. And then it's like, I don't actually know this person. I just
like
follow them on
our
TikTok.
reality TV Bravo people. We'll get into like more personal, I feel
Okay,
like.
perf. Yeah.
I think we should hop into story time because this week these stories are so good, and then we can get into more all about you, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
I'm so excited. If you guys have a story you'd like to share on the Boys Lie podcast, please submit via boyslieofficial.com. And if your story gets chosen to be read on the podcast, you get a free sweatsuit.
Brett, would you like to go first this week?
Sure. Okay, so it says, okay, buckle up. So sophomore year, I started dating this guy. Let's call him Jake. He's hot in that chaotic, tattooed, smokes cloves behind the library way. And I, being 19 and freshly heartbroken from a frat boy, was so into the drama. Things move fast, like You're My Soulmate fast. He makes me playlists, rates me sad poetry, cries during thunderstorms. I eat it up.
Yeah.
3 months in, he starts talking about how college is fake, quote unquote, and we should escape capitalism together. Red flag, sure, but again, tattoos. Then it gets weird. He tells me he's getting evicted from his off-campus apartment. Being the dumb in love girl I was, I let him move in with me and my 2 roommates without telling them. Weird turns into full-blown horror film when he tells me I'm pregnant. Spoiler alert, I was not. Wait,
What?
I'm like so confused.
If I had roommates in college and my roommate moved her boyfriend in,
Oh, I'd be so furious.
like,
I'd freak out.
Same.
I would glitch.
Yeah.
I think I would actually flip the fuck out.
Yeah.
I would move out.
Yeah.
Because also, like, even if a boyfriend is around too much, it's like annoying.
It's annoying.
Okay, he shows me a fake ultrasound, like printed from Google with my name photoshopped on it. I'm sobbing. Wait, what?
Okay, is he like, he must be on drugs.
I think something's wrong with him. He's comforting me like he didn't make it up. I skipped class for a week to process. Wait, why did you believe that? Yeah, wait, what? I'm like shook. I know I'm not pregnant because I never went to the doctors. I'm honestly scared of him at this point and thought I was going crazy. Then one day he just vanishes. No text, phone off. I'm panicked. I check the hospitals, nothing. Then I get a handwritten letter in my mailbox saying he's dead, as in he died. Apparently he quote unquote walked into the ocean to escape his darkness.
Okay.
I hold a candlelit vigil on the quad. My roommates cry. His poetry is read aloud. The school newspaper writes a memorial article. I'm legit in mourning. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm in line at Starbucks, and guess who walks in? Jake, in a beanie, alive, drinking a Frappuccino like he didn't fake his own death.
God.
Oh my God.
I would actually sue somebody.
No, like, what is wrong with it?
Also, like, I feel like it's a really big process in general, now that I'm thinking about this, to get evicted. So, like, on top of just being evicted,
Walking into the ocean to fake your own death.
faking a pregnancy,
Writing a handwritten letter about your death.
The sex life was probably so weird.
So weird.
or really great, because why else would you stick around?
Yeah.
There has to be something that she liked about this guy.
Yeah. Well, she was into like the tattoos.
Yeah, the
she said.
tattoos.
They'll get you.
They'll get you. Says turns out he had moved in with some other girl and was trying to escape both of us. Also turns out the other girl is the one who's actually pregnant. Her roommate found my name in his notebook and DM'd me. We met up and shared stories. She dumped his stuff on the lawn. I stole back my hoodie. Last I heard, he's quote unquote finding himself in Arizona living with his parents.
Okay.
Holy shit. Okay, well, you dodged a bullet.
So we got them confused.
He gave her the other girl's ultrasound probably. But okay, if this guy is this crazy, like, how does he know how to Photoshop?
Yeah, he photoshopped the names. That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like guys don't do that that often. No.
I think we all need to go back to like sex education classes sometimes. No one should ever tell you that you're pregnant unless it's your doctor.
Yeah. I'm confused why she believed it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The tattoos and the beanie of it all, just like, you just know what he looks like. Like, I can kind of like generally guess what he may smell like even. And I bet you he fucks with the hat on.
I'm crying.
Like, that would be my first guess.
100%.
Wow. Well, you really dodged a bullet there. Happy you got out of that one.
Yeah, and hopefully your other relationships don't consist of so many weird flags. I don't even think that's a red one. That's more like purple color, I feel like.
Yeah.
Should I jump into this next story?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not sure how much of this you can read on the pod, as it gets pretty non-PG. Do you know us? I'm not really sure. I'd been dating this guy Josh for just over a year. Our relationship was pretty much perfect, and it was my first one in college, so I was just getting used to time management in my junior year with a relationship. He was a football player, so there were evenings I wouldn't talk to him till late because he was at practice, or so I thought. One night I saw his location outside of the field where there's vendors and a parking lot, so I decided to surprise him. Also being a little skeptical, I showed up, and he's not in his football or sports gear. He's in jeans and regular clothes. I didn't lose my shit. I was just confused, but he had told me he had finished early, and him and his friend Ryan were just going to grab food. The field was totally empty. No people were there, nor did he have his football stuff with him. I didn't buy it, but he was there with Ryan, who's been one of his best friends for years, so I thought nothing of it after a week. The next month, I keep going to his games, and I don't usually hang out with him after because all the guys go to Ryan's house, which I'm told none of the girlfriends are allowed to go to. I would FaceTime him at after parties, and sometimes he was with Ryan, so I knocked the cheating suspicion out of the way. At that point, I'm just kind of pissed off because he's constantly with the guys, including Ryan, and I see him maybe twice a week.
I already know where this is going.
Yeah, me too. I'm scared.
Same.
Is the gaydar radar coming?
Yeah.
For once, it is.
I talked to him about it, and he apologized and says football season has been really stressful. Flash forward 2 months. We have a formal for the sorority in my college. Obviously, he's my date. Ryan and most of the team are there since they're dating girls in the sorority. I have the best night. Josh is by my side the whole time. It has already gotten late, and he asks if it's okay if him and his buddies go to the field and take some pictures. I didn't really care. He was with me all night anyway. He leaves with Ryan. 30 minutes go by and he hasn't come back, and it's almost time for them to draw for prizes. I go out to the field and no one's there. I go to the parking lot by the field and I see Josh's car with the backlight on. I thought they must be just hanging out in the car. No, there was my boyfriend laying down in his car getting head, hooking up with Ryan.
Holy fuck.
Yep.
I lost my shit.
Yeah, I would too.
I would too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There was okay. Sorry, I'm skipping that part. I stopped texting Josh back, and we didn't talk until I saw him at school. And the next week, he tries telling me that he isn't gay and that it was just a one-off misunderstanding.
Hey,
A
so
one-off. Just
what?
getting head in the back
Can
of
you
your car.
imagine the first thing that this guy says to you after you witness that is like, not I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
I'm not gay.
And it's a one-off misunderstanding. How is that misunderstanding?
Like, no, I just saw you getting your dick sucked
Yeah.
by your bestie. Okay.
Oof.
Oh my God. He tells me how much he loves me and that football just quote unquote stresses him out too much. My dyslexia is really kicking in today. I didn't want to blow the whole thing off or up because he was still being nice. And even though at the end of the day he cheated on me, Ryan reached out to me the next day, and obviously orchestrated by Josh tells me that people know something about what happened that night and me leaving, so that they're going to tell everyone that I was hooking up with Ryan, not him. And they're going to tell everyone that I was the one cheating on Josh.
What?
As soon as they started telling their story to the team, the whole thing got blown out of proportion. Now there are only a select number of people at my college who don't think that I'm a horrible person. What do I do?
Oh, so they spun it.
That's actually crazy. I I mean, tell your truth. I feel like tell your truth to as many people as possible. You don't need to go down
I was
as
gonna
the
say
cheater.
same. Yeah.
He can't hide the gay forever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
This isn't the first time he's done this.
I don't know what I would do if somebody did that to me.
Because, like, I guess it is, like, the internal of, like, okay, well, like, am I outing these people? But, like, you have to
But
defend
they
yourself.
typically outed you even though you're straight.
Yeah.
I think
Ugh,
for
that's
me,
hard.
yeah, it's so hard. But I will say, in my era now of being like 31-year-old Tori, I probably wouldn't even acknowledge this person for another second of my time and be like, just cut ties with them, ghost them forever, perpetually. But as college Tori at ASU, the Harvard of the West, I mean, I probably would have tried to get even. I'm not gonna lie.
It's hard though, because it's like you're right about the outing thing. Like you never want to out somebody, but like, is there like a line between like when you get cheated on by your boyfriend that like you have to now keep that a secret because you can't out the person? I don't know. There's like a fine line between like actually telling the truth of what happened, but also like she can't go down like this, and also like now people think she's a cheater.
Well, it's a reputation thing. Like then it makes you think that, or it makes people think that you have wrong moral code, and I think that that's something that can prevent someone from being friends with you.
But also it's like, if you really did cheat with his best friend, then why are him and his best friend still best friends? Like that wouldn't make sense in the story to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in real life, if she actually did fuck his best friend or gave head to his best friend, he would probably be so pissed and start a fight with his best friend, right?
Things aren't adding up.
So that, like, I would say, like, why are they still friends then? Like, if I really did cheat on him.
Yeah.
Without actually saying what happened.
So true. Be like, it's not true and like this is why, but like you don't exactly have to be like,
Well,
this is
also
what happened.
If you really want to get there, like show them the receipts of the texts. I'm sure he texted you being like, I'm really not gay. Oh my God, I can't believe you saw that, because she said she ghosted him, right?
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's really hard. I honestly feel for you. And honestly, what do you do now? Like, just don't hang out with those people anymore if you don't feel like getting more involved, I feel like, and just like distance yourself. Like this type of stuff will blow over, and it could be worse. There could be a worse rumor going around about you than cheating on your boyfriend.
Yeah, the shitty part about this is because they're in college when the story is being told, at least, is college is such a small bubble, and
It is.
you feel like it's like such a small community, so it kind of sucks that like they would do that, because it will feel like the whole world is collapsing on you.
I know. It will get better. Again, there could be worse rumors being spread about you, but that doesn't take away from your pain of catching your boyfriend cheating on you and getting head from somebody while he's been lying to you about it. Like that part is hard.
The part for me is I'm not gay. I'm just really frustrated with football stuff.
Yeah, like what are you talking about?
Like sexually frustrated?
Something's a mess.
I'm gonna hop into the last story. It starts by saying, why is the boy you meet when you are 19 the most evil, manipulative boyfriend you will ever have? It was not my first boyfriend ever, but it was my first college boyfriend, and I thought he was so cool and reckless. I wouldn't say I'm the most easily influenced person, but I was under his spell for sure. As a hyper-independent older sister, I was stupidly looking for a boyfriend to take control and make decisions so I didn't have to. Definitely a boy and not a man, and he would get me into so many crazy situations before we broke up a year later. So my boyfriend at the time drove me everywhere, and in hindsight, this was a huge control tactic for him, leaving me at the mercy of where he wanted to go and when he felt like it. Our parents were pretty strict, his more than mine, and even though in college, when we would come home from college breaks, both of our parents told us that under no circumstances were we allowed to have sleepovers at home. We'd only live 30 minutes away from each other, and since he would be the only one driving me around, we would always end up back at his house. He always wanted to go back to his house, and he always promised me that he would drive me home at the end of the night and not to worry. And because I wanted to go hang out with him, I would believe him every time, but he was a liar. There were countless nights where he refused to drive me home after hours of me begging and him refusing, and I finally would admit defeat and pass out from being so tired. I would set an alarm to wake up at the crack of dawn to force him to wake up and drive me back home before our parents would find out. So one beautiful summer morning, we woke up a little too late, and his entire extended family was downstairs in the living room, blocking our only escape, which was the front door. There was no other way out of the house, and we both had to leave for work ASAP. He refused to get in trouble himself, and I was always doing things to compensate so he would not get caught. But this time, I begged for him to go down and said that we would just go say hi quickly and run out the door and say nothing at all, but he was adamant about not going downstairs. The only other option we had, his idea of course, was jumping from his second-story bedroom window down into the side yard and sneaking around the back to avoid his family.
Nobody broke a leg, did they?
I don't think so. I don't know. We'll see. He said that this was the only way he would drive me home so I could make it in time to my summer job and avoid getting caught. I'm deathly afraid of heights, but this is what we did. We climbed out of his window and onto the roof. He jumped first. He waited for me at the bottom and held his hands out to catch me in case I needed help. How thoughtful. It's I can only
I'd be like hanging from the gutter. Like
Literally.
It took me a few to work up some courage, but I jumped a couple minutes later. We were already on the roof, and I felt like I had no other options. At the time, it was reckless and an exciting adrenaline rush, but looking back, and since my frontal lobe is now fully developed, I will not be jumping out of any windows for a man ever again. LOL. And if it were today, I would have told him to fuck off and walked out the front door and ordered myself an Uber. Lesson learned, never let a man make you feel like you don't have options.
Wow.
that's a really good one.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever jumped out of a window for somebody.
Yeah, me either.
No, but I can say I did have a controlling boyfriend in college who would be like, oh, I'll drive you here, I'll do this, and then like invite himself to wherever I was going. And I didn't realize that that was such a controlling tactic until later on, reflecting back on it.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I guess it's just like, no matter what, there's no situation you should put yourself in that's gonna potentially like make you get hurt. Like if his parents saw you, like you're 19 or however old, I think she said she's 19.
Yeah.
Your parents will get over it. Like
Yeah,
don't from the jump from the roof to like
Don't
escape.
Yeah, don't also put yourself in any sort of situation where you can't find your way home.
For sure.
I think that's like such a key point too in any scenario. Like you can ask at least one of the family members to take you. You can ask a homie or something like that.
Yeah, like call a friend or like call like a sister or
Yeah.
something, if that exists.
But back in the day, I don't know how old this person is now, but like when Tori and I were growing up, we didn't have Ubers at
We
the
called
time.
mainline taxi.
The yellow cabs, and like that was like our way to like get around.
And it also wasn't like a discreet thing to be able to sneak out the house with a mainline taxi. Like I remember one time your front lawn got destroyed.
Yeah. One time I was trying to sneak out of my house, and my driveway is super steep.
Well, it's a deep hill.
Yeah, it's a super steep driveway, and it was raining, and I was trying to sneak out with my friend, and it was like I was like midnight, and it was raining, and the yellow cab went down the driveway, and the tires of that cab were not like didn't have enough traction to get back up. So when it went halfway down, I was looking out the window. I guess it realized that like it was gonna be too steep, so it tried to start backing up, and like the tires were screeching. It was blowing, like when it's like blowing smoke, or it's like the tire was burning, making so much noise, and he ended up cutting across my front lawn.
No way.
Full tire streaks in my front lawn. My dad was so unhappy. I blamed it on my sister, who was like in middle school, and to this day he still thinks it was my
I'm
sister.
so sorry,
No
Kara.
way.
Yeah.
The confessions on the Boys Live podcast today.
I'm crying. That's really funny.
Did you ever sneak out growing up?
Like once or twice, but I like was like pretty good in high school. I got in trouble for like other things, but I had a really like open like communication with my parents, and I was the youngest of three. Or I am the youngest of three.
So you were lucky.
Yeah, so I'm the lucky one. Like my older sisters both like got in more trouble than I did. Whereas like I was like my mom would like make me spritzes before I went out and stuff. I snuck out like twice, but I think both times like I like Ubered. But like I was in a suburbs, like Ubers would take a while to come, and like they weren't like readily accessible, or like they wouldn't quickly come, but like it was an option.
You're so lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky.
I had the opposite. I was the oldest of three.
Yeah.
And we didn't have Ubers.
I was the middle child, so I set the rules for my household.
We're all the oldest, middle, youngest.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Sisters.
You grew up in Illinois, right?
Yeah, on the North Shore of Chicago. It's a lovely city. I don't think I'll move back, but I did like growing up there.
Feels that winter just hits different.
Yeah, I can't go back now that I lived here for as long as I have.
Out of curiosity, what did you get in trouble for? Like ever?
Like drinking, but like because I was stupid, I like blacked out when I was like 15 and broke my nose.
Oh.
And so like that was like the first like on Strawberry Lemonade Svedka. So that was my like first like big like when I was in trouble. But I was a competitive runner in high school. So I like didn't go out that much during season. So like I did drink, but like not to the same like extent, I feel like, as maybe other high schoolers.
Do you now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure about that.
I'm like a very like I'll drink on the weekends. I'll like go out like once or twice.
I should know that by
but
now.
I'm not like drinking like all the time. But like in college, I like went crazy like any other college kid does.
That's kind of better though that you did, and that you were from a different city and a transplant here, because I feel like there are people who live in Peter Pan land here because they
Yes.
haven't had that
yeah.
experience
Yeah.
specifically.
No, exactly. Yeah, but like being a runner in high school is really what like started my like interest in like the health and wellness of it all too. And I honestly was like too obsessed with it then, and then I kind of like dialed it back in college, and then like went too far to the other end of the spectrum of like not caring, and then now I'm at a happy medium, which is much better.
Running's so hard. As someone who's completely, in the words of Lil Wayne, asthmatic, like I can't.
It's not for everyone. It definitely isn't.
Do you think it's like something that you actually can build yourself up to? Because I played soccer in high school, and I played like forward, so I wasn't running like the whole time, but I tried to do track for like a season, and I honestly like I could not do it. And I don't know if it's something that you're born with, because my brother does track and he's so great at it, but like I could never run long distance.
My older sister loves long distance running, and it's kind of wild because I feel like there's a point in time where you're either out of shape and it's like you can barely run, you're run walking, and then there's a point in time where it's like you're getting a high from how long you can run.
I do think that like anyone can like work their way up to like running longer, but like it isn't for everyone. Like, so like that's what because obviously a lot of my followers like, you're inspiring me to run and like X, Y, and Z, which like I'm so grateful for. But then like people will be like, I'm trying to get into it and like I'm just so miserable. And I'm like, if you're miserable, like, and you're trying actively for like weeks or months, like maybe it's just not for you.
Yeah,
and like that's okay.
I'm
like,
a Pilates girl. Like that's just who I am.
Because even me, like in college, like I went through a phase where I hated running. I didn't run like for like years in college because I was like burnt out. I needed a break. And then I got back into it post grad, and like now I love it again. So it's like you can't force it. It's one of those things where it's like if you force it, you're just gonna like get so burnt out and be miserable.
Do you like hate yoga or Pilates or like slower movement type of?
No, I honestly love.
Okay.
I do. I try to mix them in like as much as I can. It gets like harder when I'm like in like a marathon training cycle, for example, when like I don't want to like add too much like other exercise because I'm already having to run so much. But like I do really love like those type of workouts as well.
Running, I feel like, is also like as much physical, like mental. I think that's why I give up on it most of the time. My physical part is also why I give up, but like mentally, I feel like, especially, I've never run a marathon, and by the way, like I'm so inspired by you. I don't think I could ever, but like it's amazing that you do that.
Thank
do you
you.
like, what do you say to yourself as like you're going? Because I just like give up.
Yeah.
Like, how do you mentally talk to yourself?
It's like it's really hard because like obviously it's so funny when I tell people that I'm nervous for a race, they're like, why are you nervous? Like you've run one before, like you know that you can finish. And it's like I'm not scared about that. I'm scared about like the pain I'm going to be in, and then like having to be like mentally tough to like not stop. But I just normally tell myself like you're gonna be so mad if you stop. Like think about like the feeling when you cross the finish line or the feeling when you like hit the end of your run.
Can you walk the next day?
No. Like after a marathon, like I am so sore for like weeks.
Do you have to put like ice in your bath?
I do like ice baths. Like the day after like the New York Marathon, I had to like fly home. Well, same with Boston too, but I like you can't really walk well because like your feet like hurt, because I also race in like
Sure, everything hurts.
a specific type of shoe that's like not it makes you like a little bit faster during the race, but like they aren't comfortable, so it's like you're trading that off. And so like literally like I'm like limping through the airport, but
I'm surprised you're not being wheelchaired through the airport.
Yeah.
no, like I honestly like same. Like these your quads are just shredded. It's like at least 2 to 3 weeks like no working out after a marathon because your body's just so
Exhausted.
Yeah.
I got rhabdo one time.
My brother-in-law had that happen once.
I can't. Mine's embarrassing. I did one Kayla at Sinus workout.
No way. The BB bikini body guide or whatever.
Yep.
And you got rhabdo?
I did one arm workout. It was like arms day. The next day, I'm like, my shirt feels like a little tight. Like I don't know what's going on.
She texted me. I wish I could pull up the text. Maybe I can find them. But she was like, do your muscles ever feel like they're like falling off the bone? And I was like, what?
I was like,
are
is it
you
normal for your
saying?
muscles to be like a little bit swollen after like a really hard workout? And I was like, maybe I'm just like really swole, like all of a sudden, I don't know. Then I went to work and I like look in the mirror and I went to the bathroom and I like looked at my arm, and like this part of my arm was like thick. Like I don't know how to explain it. So I told my manager and I was like, something's going on. And she's like, okay, like keep an eye on it. Like if you need to, like you should go to the hospital. So like I drew a line with Sharpie like where it was at the time, and then like literally like 30 minutes later it was like even bigger. So I went to the emergency room and they're like, you have rhabdo. And I got it from a 30-minute workout. I had it in my arms. My arms were huge, like they're the size of my thighs.
I've never seen you so
crazy.
like her face after they had all those bags pumped into you in
12
the
saline
hospital.
bags pumped through me. Yeah, my mom came to visit me. She came to like be there, and she like when she walked in, like she didn't even know who I was. Like she was like, I didn't even recognize my daughter, but it was just so funny because it's funny looking back. But when I went in, they were like, do you run like a marathon or like are you like
because it happens with like high impact. It can even happen
or
if like a
biking.
building falls on you, like if your body's in something that's in an
Yeah.
extreme stress level.
That's
crazy.
I know. They say like it's like a lot of people at Soul Cycle get
Yeah.
it, and they come in with like their legs rhabdo, but like my arms were just
I've
massive
never
tree
heard
trims.
it happening to
Like-
someone's arms.
Me either.
That's crazy. I've only heard it in legs.
No, me either. And honestly, like I didn't even know what to do. I was just like in the hospital, like not understanding what was happening. But it's really dangerous, and I didn't even know what it was before that either. And
I mean,
Yeah.
I was shocked
You
when
could
you sent me
die.
the pictures. Meanwhile, I'm the one who's like, "You're fine. Yeah, my arms get a little swollen after like a good workout."
it was terrible.
You said your brother got it.
My brother-in-law,
Oh,
yeah.
your brother-in-law. How did he get it?
From cycling.
Oh.
But he's like a cyclist, like goes on like bike rides, like, and I think he was like either like mountain biking or something, and he's gotten it maybe twice now. Sorry, Chad, if I'm like outing you.
Not Chad.
You have a boyfriend, right?
I do.
Does he run marathons with you?
No, so he's very active and athletic.
And supportive, I guess.
and- yes, but he doesn't like run long distances.
Okay.
But he does a lot of like basketball, like hockey. And honestly, like I'm a very like active person, obviously, and I'm like always getting like so many steps a day and like
Yeah.
whatever. And when I met Max, like my boyfriend, he like makes me look lazy. He's that active, which like is so crazy. But we've met one another's like match in
That's
that
good.
sense.
Yeah.
If you guys get married, you'll have like Olympic running children.
I know. Well, that's what we say. They're going to be quite athletic, I think, because we're both fucking crazy
Oh
in
my
the way that we
God.
work out.
If he likes hiking and mountain biking, I should introduce him to my boyfriend because I don't like to do those things. I need someone to like.
Yeah, to send them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you live with him?
I don't. I live with some friends from college still,
Okay.
but we live close by one another. But we've been together a little over 2 years
Oh,
now.
nice.
Congrats.
Yeah.
You would
thank
never
you.
move him into your apartment or your house with you, like the one story.
No, I'm not going to move him in and not tell my roommates, but that would be crazy. But yeah, it's honestly great. It's like, so we met right after I graduated college and he was one grade above me. But we didn't know each other in school. And so it's been great because it's like meeting in adulthood, even though it's like I was right post grad, is so different
Yeah.
than like meeting in college. And so it's just been like so great. And
Aw.
I'm excited to see like what the future has in store for us.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
It's probably amazing because you guys both are so well disciplined in your own art form, whether that's running for you or like him jumping into team sports or even just going to the gym and doing lifting with his buddies. Like it's probably really relieving to have that in adulthood.
Yes.
It's more grounding, I feel like.
Yeah. And we both like just in a myriad of ways like have our own lives. And so like we never developed that like honeymoon phase codependency that like happens so often in relationships. Like we very much like are together and then like we also still have our separate lives, which like I just really preach because I've been in those relationships where it's like you want to spend every single second together when you first start dating, and then you're like, hey, wait, I need alone time, and then like one person is always like wanting to like step back and like
Do too much.
and then like the other is normally like, wait, are you mad at me? And then it's just like bad. And so never having to deal with that in this relationship was awesome.
Is he like active on like platforms like TikTok and whatnot? That's probably relieving for you.
He doesn't have TikTok. He told me that on our first date and I was like, perfect.
You're
Because
like,
I
thank God.
had literally posted a get ready with me for a first date before my first date. He ended up seeing it anyway. One of his girlfriends showed him. But he's so supportive in my social media, but he isn't like on it himself or like cares to be in my content.
I love that.
Which is ideal. Like I wouldn't want to date a guy who was like, let's make a video.
Me either.
If he asked me to make a TikTok, I'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
like,
like,
wait,
what?
who's possessing your thoughts right now?
I agree.
You're like, I'm scared.
Yeah, no, literally. I feel really lucky because like I've been in other relationships in the past, and it's like night and day when you like find the right person.
Yeah.
And like I think about what I felt in like college per se and thinking that not that was like it, but like, you know what I mean? Just like you're in a first serious relationship.
Your world is so
Yeah.
small and you don't realize that it's actually so big and you're so small. in it.
Exactly. And so it's just so great to be with someone where you're just like 100% confident and secure. And so that's what I really tell my followers. I'll do AMAs and girls will swipe up and say these insane things that boys have said to them or done to them. And I'm like, he's not your guy.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like even with like my recent surgery, like I recently got a breast reduction and like I got a few DMs from girls being like, how did you like broach this topic with Max? And I was like, what do you mean?
Like it didn't even register
That
to you. That it
didn't
should be
even
a
cross my
convo.
mind. I was
Yeah.
just like, hey, like, so I'm going to go get a consultation. And he was like, okay. He was like, whatever you want.
Men are such simple-minded
I know, they're so
creatures.
little. But it just like shows he like loves you for exactly who you are. It
Yeah.
doesn't even matter to him.
Yeah.
Like whatever happens, like even if you didn't, I'm sure like nothing would change for him in terms of like how much he loves you.
Exactly. And like it just makes me sad that girls are with boys who probably like maybe even like are like, no, I don't want you to do that. Like X, Y, and Z. I'm like, that's not your guy. Like
It's also like not his body, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't even matter type of thing.
Exactly.
But that is really sweet. I wanted my nose done, and thank God for my husband. We weren't married at the time, but he financially supported me in that. goal.
Love.
Yeah.
Wow, what a
Sure,
king.
but yeah,
What a
also
king.
supported me in that goal, and I was just like, I love this man so much.
Love. That's how it should be. Exactly.
One of the best gifts he ever got me, honestly.
It looks great.
Thank you.
Well, I hate to like, kind of like burst like the love bubble, but we do like to ask everybody on the podcast if they do have a boys lie story that they're willing to share. So like if you
Yeah.
have any story, whether that like is with like an ex-partner, a friend, it can all remain anonymous. We'd love to hear a boys lie story
Yes.
from you.
Well, I was laughing because the girl in that story was like, why is every guy you meet at like 19 the most like diabolical? For me, it was when I was like 14, like a freshman in high school. My first boyfriend, I guess he was my first boyfriend ever, but a boy I started dating freshman year of high school was like seriously just like the worst.
Yeah.
And like I haven't seen him in years. I hope that he's treating girls better now, but just like so controlling, so insane.
In
like
high school too.
in high school,
That's like
we
such
were
a young age.
we were freshmen and sophomores in high school, and he like one of his best friends was like the party house basically. We were dating and he wouldn't let me come to the parties. He'd be like, no, like I don't want you here. And my dumb ass was like, okay, like whatever. And like he would get mad if I like hugged his friends hello, like just
So insecure.
level 1000 insecure, insane stuff. And so I finally broke up with him at the end of my sophomore year. And for the rest of high school, I like lived under his wrath. Like I wasn't invited to parties. Like
No.
he not made everyone, but like was not nice to me. And like I just kind of like was fine because like I had friends and like I was well liked, and
He
like
wasn't older. He was in your grade.
no, he was in my grade.
How do you have that much control?
I don't know. I remember my sisters would say that. They were like, why does he have like this much say? And I would be like, I don't know. And then one time I was like, it was Turnabout, which is like the dance that the girls ask the boys. And his friend was having like the post party. And I like heard through the grapevine from one of my friends at the time, who wasn't a good friend, because she was like, he's being weird about you coming. And I was like, what?
And she was planning on going?
Yes. And so I went up
my
to him
God.
myself, the guy hosting the party, and I was like, listen, like we've been friends since 5th grade. Like what's going on? Like just let me come to the
Yeah.
And he literally was like, no. And like it was fine. And like I'm a confident girl and I have been forever. So I really didn't let it like get me down.
Yeah.
But like I dealt with like that shitty guy, and like it negatively affected part of my high school experience.
sure.
And like, but like I get what it's like to be like in that manipulative relationship.
Yeah.
And how easy it is to be like,
To fall under the spell.
and like I was so scared to break up with him because I was scared of what he would do, and then he proceeded to do that stuff anyway, and I was kind of right about it, but like I survived. So if you're in that right now, like I know it might suck, but like you're better off in the long term.
For sure.
And I hope you're hanging in there, honestly, because it really is just hard in general. My situation like that came more towards senior year of high school, first year of college. So like that was my bridge to that understanding. So
Every girl has some sort of that experience, I
Doesn't
feel
that
like.
suck?
It does
Like,
suck.
It's the worst. I also just don't understand at like such a young age, like a 14-year-old boy, like who hurt him so much at that time to like make him have that mentality and like just
And be that crazy.
like, sir, you just got your braces off. You have no excuse to be
Literally.
rude.
No,
Like-
literally. It's pretty crazy.
My last question would be, when's the first time you heard about Boys Lie?
Oh my God, you guys. So I was like addicted like the second I found out about you guys.
Really?
And I was a sophomore in college. So it was the end of 2019.
right when we first started.
No, you guys had just started.
We
And
just
like
began.
my crazy ass, I always like to like find like new like restaurants or like coffee spots or brands and be like, I found
Yeah,
this.
I started this.
So that is how I acted about Boys Lie.
Well, you're on point, honestly.
This is such a full circle moment. I had the bright orange with like a cartoon caricature
oh,
on the
that's
back.
what are you gonna do without him?
Yeah.
That's our
what are you
first
gonna
hoodie
do?
ever. I'm dying.
That is our first
The
hoodie.
bright orange
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, yeah, it's
well,
neon.
I had that.
Shut
yeah. Neon
up.
orange. Yeah.
Oh,
And so I was literally
That's
obsessed.
crazy.
So that
Oscar's smiling because he was with us since the beginning.
no
too.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally have TikToks on my old TikTok account, my
Stop.
personal, in that hoodie. I was obsessed, and I remember telling all my friends about it, and
Oh my god,
That-
I cry.
is when I found out about you guys.
that makes me like ear to ear smiles because I'm just
Aw.
like, it's really rare to find people who actually know the brand from that early on.
Yeah, I forget like how I stumbled upon you guys, to be honest. I don't know if it was like, were you already on Revolve or something? I don't really know.
I don't think
but
so, not yet.
no, I
but-
think I ordered from your website, but I forget. I probably saw you guys on like an influencer or something.
I'm surprised you stuck with us because I'm pretty like during that time it was literally only me and Tori. We were literally throwing a hoodie into a USPS box, no poly bag, nothing, and just shipping it out to customers.
We had no idea what we were doing.
No.
I was
actually.
obsessed. I literally
so
was
happy to hear
like,
that.
this is gonna be like the sickest brand ever.
That's such a great story. That like is probably the best one we've ever heard on our podcast. I
Really?
swear, yeah, about how they heard about the brand. That's like the best one we've ever heard.
Oh my God, I'm honored. Yay.
That makes us so happy. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
of
thanks for coming
course.
too. On that note, buckle up
Enjoy the
and
ride.
remember that Boys Lie.
Boys lie. Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Boys lie.
Them boys, they be lying.
Boys lie.